All right, guys, here we have a 1994 Club Car DS gas. This one here has a few issues that we're going to resolve. We're going to be installing, just like in one of our last videos, we're going to install one of these breakers. I got these off Amazon. You can find them on there. This is, here's the thing. Just search for that. The Zukoto 12 to 48 volt DC waterproof 200 amp resettable breaker. This is the one that has the button you can press and then you can reset it manually. We're also going to be installing a battery tender. You can get those ones at Harbor Freight, but I don't trust those. I've seen people have their batteries killed by them. Basically, the tender that they call a tender, it fails and shorts out inside, and basically has a constant parasitic draw on the battery, causing the battery to go dead. So you get what you pay for, I guess. This was a little pricey, about 50 bucks for this. And the reason why we're going to be installing something like this on this cart is because this customer doesn't use this golf cart a lot. And they come back to a dead battery quite often, just because the cart sits for so long without being used. So what we're going to do is install this on here so they can keep it plugged in and maintained while they're not at their site. And when they get back, they come back to a freshly charged, fully charged battery. Lift the seat off. What we're going to do is just check the voltage in the battery, see what it's at. My battery meter here is starting to crap out on me. The connection inside the clamp is starting to fail, so I think we're going to be putting some new cables on this. Yeah, we're down to 6 volts, and then we load it up. It's hovering about 1.5 volts. Yeah, so the battery's dead, which I already knew. The customer did go through this process, but they just put a multimeter on it. But this works too. A multimeter will give you a voltage reading, but it won't give you a load test. So to get the air filter off on these is you have to pull down and then pull out. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take that hose off the carburetor side. I keep forgetting to adjust the camera sometimes when I'm doing this stuff. I know you guys would be watching the videos and going, geez, I can't see, man. What are you doing? Okay. So this allows us to take the air box completely out of the way. Now we have all this room in here for activities. So what's really nice too with battery tenders is they're float chargers, so they will maintain your battery. Some of the high frequency ones will actually desulfate the battery, so they claim. There we go. We'll clean up some of these wires too, because they're a bit all over the place here. Yeah, these are definitely a bit all over the place. All right, let's get the battery tender. This is going to be installed before the breaker, so the breaker is going to get installed after, or let me rephrase that. The battery tender here is going to be connected using these ring terminals. So there will always be a permanent connection to the battery itself. And then all you do is when you park the cart, you unplug, you take this cap off the plug, you plug your battery tender into this, and then plug the tender into the wall, and then you walk away and set it. You basically set it and forget it. That's what's really nice with this stuff here. The downfall to this is remembering to do it. See, this is only rated for 7.5 amp. The output on the charger is only 1.5 amps, so it's perfect. I didn't want to go with like a 3/4 amp charger for this. I wanted to make sure it had a little bit of oomph to it. I think I may have to re-terminate these. Yeah, I'm going to probably have to lop these ends off here because they're not large enough. This also comes with battery clamps, alligator clips. So you could use the charger on something else if you really wanted to. All right, so I'll try to show you what I'm going to do here. Now, see, I like to use self-tapping screws personally because I like the simplicity of them. If I put it here, maybe it'll be a little bit better to access once that cover is on. Oop, wrong way. Okay, so let's put this here. See, like on the last video where I did this isn't really a matter of trying to find and locate the cause of the battery going dead. This one is mainly because the cart sits for 6, 8, 10 months without being used. That's the main. What did I just click? Oh, that's the main reason for this. And, you know, anti-theft deterrent. Okay, that is in place. So yeah, like I said, that's going to be well hidden down in there. All right, so I got this cable here. It's much longer. I'm going to crimp on one end. Ooh, that is a tight fit. That's good. That's exactly what I want. Let's crimp on this end here. Ooh, tight. Like a toiga. Okay, so we got that crimped. This will come off of here. I know you're a bit at a cattywampus angle here, guys, but it's work comes before videoing. Okay, so now what I'll do is I will run this in here like so. The battery side. Okay, that's torqued good. Pull this. I'm going to bring it up and behind the factory loom. And it will reach. It won't be in the way. It'll look factory. That's what we want. Okay, and then this is the cart side of the electrical system, so we can drop that on. And then we have this electrical connection here, which is for the lights, I believe. There was only 2 wires on the positive side of this. See, and this hour meter that's on here too. I think it's just off camera. I don't know if that runs. I think it runs when the cart is running. I don't think it runs when the cart's off, if that makes sense. Okay. All right, so let's disconnect that. I just have to strip this back, crimp the cable to it. You know what I could do, actually? If I can get this to back out for me. Sorry, I can strip this now. I'll crimp the new end on it, and then I think I'll keep it underneath the air box. I think it'll look a little cleaner that way. What do you guys think? You think that'll look cleaner if I run it under the air box? Instead of routing it through the frame rail, I just come up under here and tie it in. What do you think? This is where I draw blood. No, not really. Be very, 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 very careful. Believe it or not, this is how I used to always strip wires. Used to always strip battery cables that way. Just a razor blade. Usually I'd have a little bit of black tape on it, electrical tape, but not this time. going to do it this way because it's going to be just that much easier. Come on. No, it pulled out of the thing. Okay. Come on, girl. Squeeze. Okay. All right. So like I was saying, I'll come through here like this. Ah, shit. You know what? I didn't even put a thing on there. Okay. I did not put a shrink wrap on that end. We're going to see if this is going to work first. Okay, so positive's on. It's still off. Let's put all the negative terminals on now. I think what we're going to do, though, first is I think we're going to straighten out some of these wires. Look at the size of that ring terminal. Holy crap, that's a 1/2 inch. We're gonna certainly fix that. That is too large. That is only gonna cause a whole bunch of issues with trying to clamp that down correctly on that. Okay. I'll have to get a... Now, do I do 2 separate ones or do I do one single one? Maybe I'll do 2 separate ones. Can you guys even see what the hell I'm doing? There, now you can. Sorry. I can't even see what the hell I'm doing. Oh, you guys can see what the hell I'm doing. All right, so there's 3. All right, so now we're going down to a... whatchamacallit here? 3/8 ring terminal. That one's full. Okay. So the other one we're going to do individually like it was. Yeah, so we're going to put a single on this one. Okay. I know my big head is probably in the way and you can't see through it. Okay, now that's a little bit more presentable. Reconnect it all as it was. Okay. How many people actually look at their hour meters? Do you look at your hour meter? Let me know down in the comments if you look at your hour meter. If you have an hour meter, that is. If you don't have one, then don't worry about it. Okay, nice and tight. Oh, you know what I forgot? Oh, that's right. I forgot to do these. No worries, folks. We'll do it. Cut that off. Actually, I'll cut them off so they're both the same damn length. I don't know why they do that. My luck. Oh, look at that. It's a double insulated wire. Got to strip the outer sheathing with the 10 gauge and then go down to the 16 gauge to strip off the inner sheathing. I think the outer is a UV protection layer. Usually, almost always, the positive side is the one that is fused, not the negative side. And a lot of light kits, the negative and positive sides are fused, believe it or not. It is rather interesting. See, now once I hook this up, what I'll do is I'll probably follow along the cable here and I'll zip tie it so it's right here, or follow it along so it's like up here, so all he's got to do is pull it out, untuck it from underneath the frame rail there, which would be a good idea. Now I know I always say, come on, yep, butthole, positive last, negative first when unhooking your battery, but because this has a breaker on it, it's not. Oh wait, no, that doesn't matter, never mind. Yeah. Ignore what I just did because I did that backwards. I did not heed my own advice. And just for those of you wondering, it is very late at night. I think it's close to almost 11 o'clock at night. But I really want to get this part of it done so I can get the charger on it for the night. Okay. That way we don't have to worry about it tomorrow. Yeah, so even though the breaker is disconnected, the negative terminal is still connected to ground regardless. It's just that the cart is disconnected from the battery. But the battery tender itself is connected directly to the battery, so it's before our little setup here. So yeah, you know what, I am going to go forward with it and go this way because this air filter housing goes over the battery and that's what holds the battery in place. So this is a nice little setup. I actually have a bunch of these plugged into my my yard toys, my lawnmower, and my what else? My nephew's little quad. Anything that doesn't get used, even my own personal golf carts. I have a, well, you saw if you guys saw the video where I installed the electric dump actuator in a Turf 2. That's my own personal cart. Use that for, I know you can't see what I'm doing. I use that for chores around the yard. I tell you what, this zip tie gun makes my life so much easier when it comes to that stuff. Okay. Oh, that's why the frickin' lights weren't working, because I had that breaker off. Well, they don't work anyway because the cart's dead. Well, there's enough juice in the battery to light the light on the switch, so that's a result. And then I shut it off and it goes out. All right, so what we need to do now, we just need to let this thing charge up overnight, which I'm not going to sit here and record because that would be stupid. Like I said, I don't know if the customer wants me to do any other work to it or just leave it be for now. We'll find that stuff out when we're, how do we look here? Okay, that's perfect actually. Yep. I know I'm probably in the way. It's all right. Ow, that hurt. Okay. Can you see through me? No. This is why I don't like the camera overhead, because you can't see. Okay, so now we are pretty much, that's pretty much it. The breaker's installed, so you can barely even see it down in there. You have to hit the camera. You have to really look for it, but you can still reach down in, activate and deactivate it, which is great. We have the battery tender hooked up. It's good to go. I'll walk through all of this stuff. I'll take pictures and send it to the customer in case he's not available when I drop the cart back off. Okay, so here we are the next day. The cart has been charging. I actually charged it up with this charger. You can see the green lights on. So we know that it's good. I just checked the lights. The lights come on. We're good there. What we are going to do today is I've actually been in touch with the customer just to see exactly what else they want me to do before I take this thing out of here. We're going to do a full service on it, oil change, filters, and all that fun stuff. Let's unhook our charger now because we don't need it plugged in. I have a strange feeling that this isn't going to start and run very good. But we'll see. We're not going to jump to any conclusions. All right, so let's see what we got here. We're in service mode. I want to see if this is going to start and run on its own. Oh, that's a good sign. Well, I think we're going to still pull the carb on this because you know what? I don't know. I just feel like my gut is telling me to pull the carburetor. Let's see how this air filter looks. Like I said, we're going to do, oh my God, we're not changing that. That is still freaking brand new. Look, no dust coming out of that. You can obviously tell that this hasn't been driven in a while. I put this air filter in, I'm going to say, probably 3 years ago. And it's not wet, so there's no reason to change it. And no sense of putting something in that it doesn't need, you know, that kind of thing. All right. So we're going to pull the carburetor on this. No, I don't have gloves on yet. I know. I'm going to do that right now before we start dicking with. Fuel filters. Air filter's good. We're not going to change that. The battery is charged. Let's see if it turns on. Yeah. Awesome. All right, so the battery held its charge, which is great news. Okay, this is a stock one. So let's see here. What is going on? Why is there we go. This little pin. These little pins are great. These little thingamajigs here. They're a pain in the ass. And then we're also gonna, we'll flush down the fuel system a little bit too, just to ensure that it's nice and clear. Make sure there's no moisture in the lines. Yes, I am wearing a jacket today, in case you're wondering. It's only in the upper 40s right now in the morning. Cold. Cold day for June. But it's going to be near it's going to be near 80 and mid and upper 80s starting tomorrow. So I'll go figure. At least it's not raining. At least it's not raining. What am I doing? I don't even know what I'm doing. All right, let's take that hose off. That is the overflow hose. Take this off. And then I like to take the spring off. Make sure you don't lose the throttle return spring. You do need that on these because these These throttles, they do not have a return spring built onto the carburetor. Okay, so we're going to slip this off. Since I'm changing the fuel filter anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take it off. Ooh, let's dump it out here. Oh, that ain't gonna work. Wow, that's on there tight. Okay, there we go. Okay. There's a little bit of debris in the filter, but it's not terrible. I've seen them a lot worse. All right, let's roll the engine over, see how this pumps. Come on. Uh-oh. Okay, you can tell, I don't know if you can hear that, but the battery is getting weaker. So what I'm going to have to do is put the big charger on it, I think, while we're doing this. So we're going to run the charger at about 15 amps on the DC there. Engine's cranking over a little too slow. So let's double check our fuel. Okay, so we have good flow. Can't go by the dirt coming out of it because that's what's in there. While we're here though, we're going to throw on a fuel filter. On this end. All right, carb's off. Let's get it pulled apart and cleaned. I'm not thinking there's going to be a lot in this. Oh, I stand corrected. I don't know if you're going to be able to see, there's a lot of gel starting on the shaft there. And there is quite a bit of debris in that carb. Let's get it centered here so you can see it, hopefully. Yeah, it's a bit jelly. So it's a good thing that I decided to pull this off, because this would have been bad. I'm going to take it over to the parts washer real quick and just give it a quick dusting here. So definitely looks a lot better. I mean, you got however many years of dirt caked up on these things, it's going to be almost impossible to get them 100%. That's not in bad shape. See, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this very good if the camera decides to focus on it. See the gel that's accumulated all around that tube there? This stuff here. Nasty stuff. Let's see if we can knock some of it out before we start diving into taking this apart. Okay, jet's out. Let's get that emulsion tube out, maybe. Sometimes these buggers don't want to come out at all. Just give it a couple of light taps on the seat hinge there. Sometimes you gotta get in there and force them to come out. There we go. Or you gotta get in there with a pick. If you don't have any picks, what you could also use is a Allen wrench. And make sure you're gentle with it, but in many cases an Allen wrench will work to help you push the emulsion tube out. Gonna be time to get another can of Carb Cleaner here. We got some good flow. Good flow. All right, there we go. I wish it was easier to get these carburetor parts, like rebuild kits for these. You know, like if it was $1, for example, say for the float, maybe another $1 or $2 for the. I think we're going to change this gasket. This gasket looks a bit gnarly. Yeah, look at that. We'll put a new gasket on this. I have a bunch of these. But, you know, getting parts for the carburetors themselves is a little harder than a lot of people think. For these carburetors, anyway. Because the carbs themselves, they don't cost that much. They're not that expensive. So, okay. Yeah, we're going to put a brand new gasket on that because this one's a bit funky. Get a little blade of razor. See if we can carefully, without slicing my hand open. Cut away from yourself, you idiot. Yeah, I know. I'm not using a lot of force. Don't matter though, because these this is a brand new blade and it's razor sharp. No pun intended though. And it's not super critical to get every last bit off on these because it's not an engine part. You just need to get them nice and clean so they're flat. Because when they get all shitted up like this, you gotta spend a bit of time cleaning them out so all that crap doesn't get back inside the carb. It's not very often that I have to change the gaskets on these, but this one here just has seen better days. Unfortunately, I don't have any direct replacement gaskets for it, but I did find one here that'll fit, that's for an E-Z-Go, that will work. It's just a little bit larger on the spacing for the holes. I normally wouldn't do this, but because of its location, it will work. Yeah, it'll work just fine. I don't have any for this particular application here, but now I know I gotta get them. Not a big deal. I mean, you guys know me. I'm all about doing it exactly the right way the first time. The only one I have is the one that goes between the intake snorkel and the carburetor for this cart. So I'm going to just use this one here for now to get the customer up and running. Like I said, it does fit and it covers all the necessary components. So it's not like it doesn't work. It's just a different part number is all. Could have swore I had them, but you know how that goes. I'll just add it to my order, my next order for gaskets. I got to get a bunch of gaskets. I am running low on many of them. So one thing I have to let the customer know about is the fact that their battery went dead, completely dead. You know, I mean, technically a 12-volt battery is dead when it hits 12 volts. And lead-acid batteries, you really don't want to draw down below 50% of their rated capacity, which kind of sucks because you don't really get that. Actually, you don't get that much usage out of lead-acid batteries. But let's face it, most people are not going to listen to that rule unless you actually know what you're doing. All right, fuel filter. They'll let them know that the battery, though, because it's been dead And I don't know how long it's been sitting that dead. That he may need a new battery. I'll see if he wants me just to go ahead and put one in. This is a Napa battery. It's not a battery that I would normally put in. Before I go any further with this, I do want to check our oil here. See what this looks like. It's actually not bad, but it's been a few years since this was done. All right, let's see if this puppy starts. I want to see if it'll start on its own. There it goes. It's going to struggle a little bit. There it goes. Okay. All right, it's running, and it starts and runs on its own, so that's good. These older carts, for whatever reason, they don't like to run without the air cleaner on. Get this air box installed now. So the air filter's clean. We're not going to change that. That's no sense of in throwing something at it that it doesn't need. We'll put this on. Come on. There's that. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Like a dumbass, I forgot to. There. All righty then. Yeah, and I've noticed that with a bunch of different club cars. They don't like to run with the air filter disconnected. They'll run, just not very good. They'll hiccup and spit and sputter a little bit. And some of the newer ones, they'll run fine without the air filter hooked up. They don't run very good either, but they run still. All right, there we go. Not bad. Don't look terrible. See, I mark everything that I change. Okay. There's that. I try to date everything as much as I can. Because unfortunately, I've had people say that I did something I didn't, or I didn't do something I said I did, and that's got to be the most frustrating thing. And, you know, I'm not saying that sometimes I miss something. That happens. You know, I'm just as human as the next man or woman, boy, child, girl, whatever. Whatever you want to be called. All right, so that part's done. We're basically done under the seat except for the oil change and filter. All right, guys, that is going to do it for this one. I didn't film the service on it just because I wanted to get it done quickly. It's already been here longer than what I would have liked. So oil change, oil filter, fuel filter, obviously, because we did some carburetor work. Tires are good, are inflated to 30 PSI according to the sidewall. All the lights work. It starts, stops, steers, runs as it should. So this cart is done. So we're going to get it out of here and get the next one in. So as always, guys, I really appreciate you watching. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you already haven't. Be sure to hit the bell icon to be notified anytime I upload a video to the channel. Check the video's description to links for products I use every single day to bring you these videos. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions, blah, blah, blah. You know the whole routine. All right, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.